Good morning. This morning, let's begin with our opportunity to sit still and anchor ourselves down into our mat. Allow yourself to feel what it is to be right here in this space, in this moment, in this very breath. And we can add to this sensation a mantra. I am here. I like to think of the I am as I'm inhaling and here as I'm exhaling, feeling the length. I am. Exhaling, feeling the groundedness here. And then let's shift in our seat. Instead of isolating the rib cage, we're going to actually rock. So I'm feeling one hip bone come up off the floor after the other. And then we'll do a little circle with it, focusing on that tail. Feel yourself move around those bones. Other direction if you haven't switched yet. Excellent. Let's take one knee up to the side. And I'm kind of cold. I haven't warmed up today, so I'm going to actually hold on to it with my hand to encourage it to go open. And then let's go ahead and tip the knee in and out. And then take the knee behind. We're going to take this hip and press it forward and back. And then we have this supporting arm over here on the ground. Go ahead and press into it quite actively. We'll take our arm up. Think of lifting through the rib cage. And then exhale back down. Think of pressing the rib cage towards the elbow. So we're stretching the rib cage to one side and then the other. If you'd like to, we'll add to this a lift. So I'm going to press down through my knees to lift my tail off the floor. The motion through the ribs is the same, lifting to one side and then stretching to the other side. Go ahead and sit down. Tuck your tail under and feel a stretch through the front of the back leg. If it's right for you, we're going to continue this kind of rocking motion through the torso. That little bit of swivel in the hips can make that sensation stretch differently down the quadriceps as well. And then turn towards the front leg and lay over the top of it. Now, for some of us, this will be a good enough stretch in that front hip that we can just hang out right here. And again, feel the contact with the floor. If, however, it's very, very mild and you'd like to intensify the stretch, you can stretch your back leg further and then roll your hips so that your kneecap points down, and that'll intensify the stretch for you. But again, we'll come to this sensation and direction of downward grounding. We'll bring our hands under our armpits, lift the chin, lift the heart, and release. We'll take the second side. Lift this knee up. I'm going to take a moment to try and get my hip to stay on the ground even though the knee is up. And then we'll play with that knee, pulling it across, and then open. Now you can see that I'm coming off of my tail back here. You can intensify this stretch by trying to keep that weight flat across your butt cheeks. I'm just kind of enjoying the added stretches up higher by pulling it off. So experiment, see what's right for you today, as always. All right, we'll take this back and we'll play with the hip. And then tuck the tail under. Focus on the quadricep and hip flexor stretch. again, if you'd like to shift through the torso here, please do. And let it go. Again, we have our supporting arm down over here. We'll take this arm up, press your rib cage up towards the sky, then towards the supporting elbow. We can add the lift of the tail. And then we'll rotate towards the front leg, adjust the back leg as needed. And ground. Feel a stability underneath of you, how it supports you. We'll bring the hands under the armpits, lift the chin, lift the heart. And sink it back. Let's come to child's pose. So we'll be on our shins with our torso folded over the top. And for this one, we're going to extend the arms. And I really want you to feel the length of the sides of your body. Coming up to hands and knees. And we're going to bring the balls of the feet to the ground and push back so your weight comes off your knees. We're going to play with that a little bit. Rock forward, tops of the feet down, stretch your ankles that way, and then feet tucked under, Press the knees back, stretch your ankles that way. Next time you're on the tops of your feet, go ahead and rock back if that's accessible to you. Tuck your tail here so we're going back to that stretching of the quadriceps and also a little bit of tummy engagement. And this time we go back on the soles of our feet. Let's press all the way back to a squat. So right now I'm trying to get my heels to the ground, so my knees are a little bit higher, but I'm really stretching that Achilles tendon to its fullest. Weighted, so I have giving it a little bit of time to get used to the idea. Safely lengthen. Let's go ahead and put our hands back down to the mat. We're going to press our heels down and our tail up, and then back down. Let's take it back and forth. The next time the tail is in the air, we'll leave it there. Let your body hang forward. Walk your hands forward on the mat to a downward facing dog. And we'll play with this. Go ahead and walk it through. Bring your weight forward over your hands, plank, and then back up to dog, and then walk the hands back to forward fold. Let's do it again. We'll walk the hands forward, forward fold. Walk the hands forward to downward facing dog. How about that? And take it forward to plank. Nice engaged core. Feel the low belly pulling up and in a little bit. Bend the knees down to the mat. Press it back, child's pose. Sit on your heels. Rock it back. And then to the balls of your feet. Lift your tail, forward fold. Walk your hands forward, downward facing dog. Shift your weight forward to plank. Option here, if you'd like to bring one knee forward to your elbow. You can get some more core work in there. And then we're going to press back to child's pose. Sit on your heels, lean back, engage your core, stretch your feet. Take it forward, soles of the feet to the mat, forward fold. Walk your hands forward, downward facing dog. Shift your weight forward to a plank. If you'd like to, you can bring that second knee to elbow. Shift it back, child's pose. Sit on your heels. Stretch back, engage your belly muscles. Hands to the mat in front. We'll come to the soles of our feet. First a squat, then a forward fold. Walk the hands forward, downward facing dog. Bring your shoulders forward over your hands. Come down to child's pose. We're going to change change this sequence up a little bit, not just because the kitty cat. We're going to bring our right shin forward. And if the hips are still stiff at all, just going to rock into any sticky points. Press back on the balls of your feet. So you're in this kind of partial lunge, partial downward facing dog. And I want you to press down through the foot in front and let the back leg float upwards. If you'd like to, you can play with not using your hands as much. Maybe they come towards the supporting foot or the ankle, or maybe they just reach right up to the sky. And let it come down. We're going to go back to child's pose. From your child's pose, bring your left shin forward. On the soles of your feet, we'll press the tail in the air. Step back, press down through the front foot, lift the back leg up. Take the hands wherever you'd like to help you with your focus today. And let it down. Soles of the, feet next to each other on the ground. Breathe in, roll all the way up to standing tall. We'll take the arms up overhead, shoulders will go low. Hands to heart space. Palms of the hands together. Bring your right knee up in front of you. like you're stepping on a large block here. Engage through the core. And take a big step forward. We're going to shift the back leg so that it's out to the side a little bit. Warrior one, so belly button and hips are still facing forward. Back leg is long, pressing down through the back edge of your foot. Relax your toes in front and think of pressing down through the front of the heel instead. So right under there. Breathe in, stretch the arms up high overhead. Open, warrior two. We're going to shift to the side. My back leg swings open a little bit. Arms are out along the horizon, down away from the ears. Shift your torso forward and back. Lengthen the front leg. We'll take our torso over. Notice that the spine is staying quite long. And take it up, reverse triangle. We're going to bend into that knee again, tip it forward again, still long side, long spine. And then bring both hands down to the mat. Notice that both my hands are on the inside of my front leg, so a little bit different from low lunge. I'm noticing that I'm trying to roll my foot, and I'm going to encourage the arch back down. And I'm going to let myself get real cozy with the mat here and see if I can get my elbows close to or on the ground. That back knee was wanting to bend, and I'm doing my best to lengthen my leg. And then let's go ahead and set the back leg down. I'm going to bring my left hip towards the ground. And now I get to let this arch roll off the ground. I've heard this called reclined lizard. So I'm thinking of reaching my left hip to the ground. It's not going because I am incredibly tight today, but that's the direction of the energy. All right, let's unwind this. Back up to your hands, back to your ball of your foot and back. Step your foot backward, downward facing dog. Child's pose. Sit on your heels, rock back, engage the core. Forward fold. Breathe in, stand all the way up. Arms up high overhead. Hands to heart space. Left knee comes forward, stand on a large imaginary step. And actually feel that. Feel like you could put pressure down on that step. Notice how it engages you through the core to do that. Take a large step forward. We're going to bend into that front knee. Open the back leg a little bit. Hips and navel facing forward. Tail and tummy tucked. Arms up. Open warrior two out along the horizon. We'll shift through the hips. Lengthen that front leg, shift forward, triangle pose. Press down through the front foot to lift you to reverse triangle. Press down through this hip. So before we sunk into the front one, now we're going to sink into the back one. Energy goes all the way down and through the back edge of that back foot. And now side angle pose, tipping forward again, bending into this front knee. Opening the heart towards the side wall, or even that thought of heart towards the sky. Got a couple options here for you. You'll notice I ended up sticking my elbow on my knee to support me, or you can focus on more core strength by not using the support. And bring both hands down to the mat inside the foot. Remember, we're going to keep the arch on the floor. And we're going to play with getting low. Back leg stays long. And set down the back knee. We'll rotate and think of dropping the right hip towards the mat. And I'm going to push my left knee away from me with my left hand. Right hip is reaching to the ground. And we'll unwind it, find your way back to child's pose. Sit on your heels, lean back, forward fold, tail in the air. Walk your hands forward. Downward facing dog. Plank. And Chaturanga Dandasana. So lower yourself down to the mat. Maybe you don't use your knees, maybe you do, but one way or another, elbows go back, bring yourself down. Roll over to your back.
Let's do a little happy baby. Bring the legs so your knees are coming towards your armpits. And sometimes we do this really wiggly and squirmy, and that's fun. But for today, we're going to play with this idea of grounding, moving downwards towards the stability of the floor. So feel those knees gently inching their way closer to your armpits. Feel the shoulders get heavy, encouraging this downward movement. We'll bring the soles of the feet together. And again, just encourage the downward movement. Let's bring the soles of the feet to the mat. And take both knees to one side. Make this spinal twist your own pose, right? So, and explore with the arms, with the legs. What is it that you need out of this stretch right now? And let yourself take that. And we'll take it to the other side. And unwind. Take any last shapes or movements that you'd like to on your way to our relaxation pose on our back. Find your Shavasana. once you do, sink down into the mat. Sink down into the floor. Feel the weight of your body being held by your mat. The backs of your hands heavy. The backs of your arms heavy. Your shoulder blades and spine all sinking down. Notice the heaviness of your head. Now just completely press down into the mat. Your hips completely letting go. Your legs let go. And your feet way down into your heels. Turn your awareness now back to the room that you're in. Begin to move and stretch the body. And roll to one side. Take a moment to notice the changes in you, physically and mentally. And take a few thoughts of gratitude for yourself in this work that you've done. And begin to press yourself up to sitting.
Feel the floor beneath you and feel the heart in your chest. Feel those grounded, ever-present things. Take a moment of gratitude. Together we'll take a deep breath in and out, and I invite you to Om along with me on the exhale if you'd like to. We'll breathe it in. Thank you. Namaste.